Yeah. All right. We are live. Welcome to Talking Investing with Tom.
I'm George.
And it's Friday and the market is closed in the US as of right now. We started a little early today. I got to end a little early.
You know what's funny? Is I was a little nervous that it wasn't going to work, Tom. I'm not going to lie.
What?
The stream.
Oh, this stream right now?
Yeah, you never know with you.
Oh, because yeah, I even have your face up. I nailed it today.
Really
Bam,
good.
100%.
Hey, Barry. So we're probably going to start, and then a lot of people aren't going to watch until later because they don't think we start until 4:15.
I know our normal's 4:15, so it might take people a few minutes to get here, but that's okay.
Well, then I can talk about the Hive. The Hive. What's his name?
Iden.
Iden. And how did you feel overall about Hive? How do you feel more? Are you more convicted on Hive?
I am. When I was done with that, when I was done talking to him, I felt better about what Hive is doing.
What are you worried about with Bitcoin miners overall, and what do you think he's got figured out?
I think that they're extremely focused on managing their business, managing their liquidity, and they along with, I think, Hut, very early on in 2022 realized, you know what, it's time to switch gears, and it served them well, in my opinion. So,
I mean, are they running cash analysis and stuff like that, like a normal business?
Oh, these guys are. I can't even keep up with the analysis that they run. Iden's a lot like Frank, so they're both. He's an engineer. They're both very, very analytical, and they probably even do some analysis that, if I was running the company, probably goes beyond what I would do. But yeah, I mean, they got this down to a science.
Right.
And they do a part of what we talked about that was not clear to me in their monthly updates is, and this, I don't think it's going to matter as much going forward, but when Bitcoin was at its lows, they do have some fixed power purchase agreements, and they were able to sell $3 million of energy back to the grid.
Oh, really? Nice.
So that was way, way more than they would have made mining Bitcoin. I mean, it was 10x what they would have made mining Bitcoin.
And where do they operate out of? What areas?
They're in 3 different countries, but they're mostly in Canada.
Oh, okay.
Sweden and Iceland, I think, also, if I'm remembering correctly. I actually only got a chance to ask him about half of my questions because we were running very long.
Yeah.
So I think it was an hour as it was, so I just kind of wrapped it up. But
their EBITDA is bad. That's why it's just nice to hear you say that.
Right, and we talked about balance sheet and income statement, and I think the Bitcoin mining income statements are the very hardest thing for investors to go through because there's so many other things on there that they have to do that are non-cash. In my mind, they're I think they're non-reality items. But
Right.
they can be big numbers. So all of a sudden it's, huge swings. So, it's funny because he did a calculation and it's the one that I do for all the Bitcoin miners. So it's the one that makes sense.
What calculation's that?
It's basically your revenue your total revenue from your Bitcoin, your cash cost to mine the Bitcoin, so not depreciation and other non-cash numbers, minus your cash cost, that's your gross profit, and then you compare the gross profit to your overhead.
Oh,
so
okay.
That's my first super simple analysis. That keeps it, so there's that number gets manipulated 1,000 different ways after that, but to me, that's what I look at first. And for them, even in the fourth quarter, which was the worst of the, knock on wood, unless the worst is in the future, that was the bottom of the bear market, and they were cash flow positive with that equation, including their general administrative and overhead.
Oh, nice. So now I guess we can start to talk about our normal stuff. Tom just got done posting a video on Hive where he talked to the CEO. When did he get promoted?
Just a couple months ago, I feel like.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty impressive, really. I mean, how old do you think he is? He's got to be in his mid-30s, right? Or early 40s?
I think he's in his... I didn't ask him that question. I'm speculating. I thought he was in his 40s.
Yeah, I mean, he could be 38 to like 44 if I had to put him anywhere.
Yeah.
But that's pretty impressive to have that type of position at that age. I mean, that's crazy,
Well, and if you haven't watched at some point this weekend, check out the interview with Aiden, because he really did do some deep dives, and I got a good feeling by the end of the interview, but you guys can let me know in the comments when you watch what you think. But he's an impressive guy, and they're a different kind of company, and Frank will probably come on with him next time. But
nice.
It was nice to get a chance to talk to Aiden by himself, because they both have so much to say that when they're on together, it's almost overwhelming for me. So,
Are you going to meet up with him at Miami? Is he coming?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, cool. Dude, I mean, we're going to have like a powerhouse lunch there, huh?
Yeah, that's going to be
crazy.
It's coming up. Well, a couple months away, month and a half.
Hello from Denver, Aiden. Hey, buddy. Barry asked, which miners dilute shares and hold no Bitcoin reserves? And everybody knows that answer.
So
was that a poll? Barry, was that for a poll?
That is because Barry must have watched the interview, and Aiden specifically, he didn't call out the miner. He didn't say the name of the miner, but he did say one miner not only had to go through a lot of dilution, but they had to get rid of all their Bitcoin as well. So he didn't name any names, but Barry's asking which one. I'll name the name. I mean, it's a Bitcoin miner I like, and they had a financial problem. And there's actually two Bitcoin miners that I feel good about, that I think you could say that about.
Well, I think you have an idea, where CleanSpark tried to be, I want to say like sneaky, you know what I mean? They tried to not raise a lot of capital use their Bitcoin to raise capital. I respect that. I think that that's going to change once they build out their exahash. If I was a betting man, they're going to, and I'm sure they got it figured out exactly what month that's going to be so they can crank it up and store a lot of Bitcoin before the halving.
I think you're right. I think their game plan, and they've been clear, they want to get to 16 exahash this year. So I think they'll probably slow the growth down from that point forward, and start to hodl some Bitcoin. I don't know that. I'm speculating, but that's what makes sense to me. But they have aggressive plans, but they've paid for all of their growth, that by selling their Bitcoin. Now they have also done dilution. So that's one of the companies. I think he was probably talking more about Bitfarms that had to do
I knew
the
he
same
was
thing.
Bitfarm, yeah.
But, listen, they did what they had to do. 2022, I don't want to cast stones at anybody. That was a tough year. This was a brutal bear market / crypto winter. So, anybody that got to the other side, by the same token, Bitfarms doubled their exahash. So it's not like, it was a lost year. I think they had a good year. I think the market is still punishing them, in my opinion.
Well, I think it's in the case where, they're just happy to have the doors open, and they had to strategize to get through that, that crypto win there. If it's over with or not, I don't know yet, but I hope it is.
Well, that's exactly right. And I think that all of these companies had to, and some of them figured it out earlier than others. And that's what I'm saying. I think Hive, because they are the oldest Bitcoin miner and they've been there, done that, they've been through the crypto winners, they had a better sense of this. Hive and Hut very early on, you saw all of a sudden it was like they stopped their growth completely, and that it turned out to be just as right as they moved into a crypto winter. So
And this one lasted a little longer, didn't it, Tom? Or no, was this kind of right in the same
it's
sequence?
it's within the same realm. This is a little longer than average, and in a lot of ways, I think it was a much deeper crypto winter for Bitcoin and the altcoins. And, so in some ways, there's this 85% pullback thing that everybody looks for, and we didn't quite get to that. But remember, we didn't have nearly the run-up. So, I look at it versus the 200-week moving average. That's my benchmark of what the crypto winter is, because, we went to a place we've never been before. Bitcoin dropped below its 200-week. 200 weeks is, the better part of 4 years. So that means it was trading below its 4-year moving average. And it did that for, 6 months maybe. And it's never done that ever in its history. So to me, that signified a very deep crypto winter, in my opinion.
Real quick, Stronghold's current evaluation. Do you like it? What do you think about it?
I like Stronghold. I understand their valuation is tiny. Their market cap is tiny. I think they're one of those stocks that if you're willing to wait, I think there's good things ahead. I think they got through the hard part. They're one of the many companies that had to drastically change their business model because of the crypto winter. So they look very different than they did. So if you don't own that stock, I would definitely do your due diligence and see what it is that they're doing now. But I like what they're doing, and I feel good about them. And their valuation is super low right now.
I missed one from the tourists. FRC First Republic. I think that's First Republic Bank, or no? What is it? Yeah, I guess it is First Republic Bank. The C threw me off. Will that ever go to $50 again? United States dollars.
Will that ever go to $50 again? I'm still wondering if the doors are gonna stay open. So
you're worried about that?
That would be, I don't know anything more than you guys do, but when I look at that situation, if the doors stay open, I don't imagine, in my opinion, it's never going to get back anywhere near where it was. You never know. Sometimes 15 years makes a big, big difference. If they survive this, get through it, and, get around to a bull cycle, maybe in 10 or 15 years, but I think there's still a lot of risk on the table for them as to whether or not they're even going to keep their doors open.
Are you offering your audit services?
No, thank you.
Just so you know, I'm staying up on the notes here, so I'll try to catch up so you don't have to worry about them. Tourist says, second question. This is, I guess he's getting ready to give you a super chat. Second question. I have 250 shares of Marathon at $8.60. Should I hold or sell? So Marathon is $7.84, a little up after hours.
And down today. Today was a red day across the board. You can see, hopefully on the screen, you should be able to see all the Bitcoin miners. They all had a bad day. Marathon and Riot are the big ones. They have been trading somewhat in tandem. They both had a bad day. I have a position in Riot. I haven't opened a position in Marathon. I have had a position in them in the past. I caught a great run-up on them last bull cycle. I kind of missed it this time, and so I missed the good part and the bad part. But I like what Marathon's doing right now. If you watch my last deep dive, I just did a deep dive on Marathon. I think it was this week. And I think they're getting better and better at what they're doing. Financially speaking, from a balance sheet standpoint and from a business standpoint on that end, I feel like that's always been their strong suit. Operationally, I feel like they started at the very beginning of the learning curve, and they had to learn every single mistake along the way, is what it felt like to me. And that was a frustrating year last year. So, if you watch my deep dives, a lot of people think I hate Marathon. I'm just kind of feel like I was talking about what happened. I mean, it's just a fact. They got down to, I think at one point in the middle of the year in like June or July, they mined 72 Bitcoin for the month. I mean, they were doing 400 back last January. So, you know, they got to the point where they very, very close to shut down their entire operation. There may have even been some days in the middle where they actually literally had shut down their entire operation. So, but having said that, they moved out of a facility that was coal. That's now gone. That went from 100% of their business to 0% of their business. And they are finally, you know, getting things up and running in Texas. So I think Marathon is still in a accumulation stage, in my opinion.
Let's look at Bitcoin real quick, Tom. What are you thinking? Are we done with the run?
I don't feel like we're done with the run, but we're getting put through the ringer again. There's no doubt. I'm just going to interject. If everybody could please smash the like button. We got 21 likes. We've been getting 100. We're on a streak of 100 likes. So if you could please, it helps the stream out a lot. They push the stream out to more people on YouTube if you guys smash the like button. So thank you. What was I saying?
We're going to Marathon. You said you still think there's some room for the upside.
Yeah, I mean, I like Marathon. I like Riot. To me, I don't hold, and they have very different business models. So I shouldn't really say, you know, one's like the other. It's all of these guys have taken a different approach to, you know, trying to do the same thing. I mean, the same thing being mine Bitcoin, but there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of nuanced and not so nuanced differences between these companies. So some of them are pretty fundamental differences. And it depends on what you like. You know, I'll give you the easiest one of all is, you know, are you holding your Bitcoin or are you selling your Bitcoin, right? You'll get people to vigorously argue both sides of that argument. So who's right and who's wrong? We're going to find out in the future. But probably everybody has their own opinion on that.
It's really kind of shocking that more people didn't buy at the $15,000 range. You know, these Bitcoin miners, if they're used to this crypto winter.
I don't think they should have been buying Bitcoin.
Because they could mine it so cheaper?
Right. Even if their cost to mine was 15, just keep doing what you're doing. Don't take your cash flow and invest it in the thing you're already 100% invested in. So if there's any criticism, I know that, you know, Bitfarms did do that. It was almost a year ago now. Maybe it was more than a year ago. And, you know, to their credit, listen, everybody thought Bitcoin was going to double, triple, quadruple. So they took a calculated risk. It did not go their way. But I think it's more about shifting from, you know, right now, almost every single Bitcoin miner, and I think Hive's the only one that is even claiming to use a hybrid approach anymore. Pretty much everybody is selling all their Bitcoin every month right now. Even HUT, because of the fact that they have a pending potential merger, they've agreed to sell their Bitcoin on a monthly basis until that either goes through or does not go through.
So the only reason I say that is if you have idle cash, why wouldn't you keep it in Bitcoin?
If you have idle cash, but really, if you go down this list, most of these companies, they were in a liquidity crisis at some point in 2022. It got, this crypto winter got ugly for these companies because, and it was a confluence of events. Not only were we in a crypto winter when, you know, and I guess they always happen when you least expect them. From a cycle standpoint, it's exactly when we should have expected it. But nobody was looking for a crypto winter. And at the same time, all of a sudden there was an energy shortage, a massive spike in the cost of energy. On top of all of that, even through the crypto winter, we continued to hit new all-time highs on the overall Bitcoin network exahash rate, which means the difficulty level kept going up and up and up. So that was a triple whammy for these guys, and it left an awful lot of them like clinging to their last bit of cash, just making sure they get to the other side. And you don't know how long it's going to last. You know, even if you have $80 million left on your balance sheet, you know, are you willing to risk that? Or would you rather say, you know, listen, I'm a Bitcoin miner who can survive another 2 years of crypto winter if that's what happens. So I think that's the mode. I feel like that's the mode everybody was in. And I can understand that.
So you don't talk about, and I know why, Eclipse, here's your answer to your question. SAI.tech, symbol is SAI. It is a smaller cap Bitcoin miner. It just went above your $25,000 mark. So it's $28,882 million. So Tom kind of a long time ago said, look, if it's not over 25, I'm not even paying attention to it. So if I had to bet money, this has just been all over the, you know.
It's SAI?
SAI. You want to pull it up?
Yeah, I'll pull it up and take a look. I mean, I'm not trying to ignore any companies, but there's a lot of companies that called themselves Bitcoin miners. It was two things. Like George said, if it was so micro cap that it was, you know, a lot of my micro cap stocks that I was following that were already near the cutoff turned into nano cap stocks. So I didn't stop talking about them, but you know, if they were already only 10 or 15 million dollars, then I left them off my radar. Or if they called themselves a Bitcoin mining company, but they weren't actually mining any Bitcoin. That was a lot of companies last year in 2022. So I'm going to look at this one because I really don't know this company. I've never looked at this company. So
right. Yeah, I know. That's why, Zombie, that's why I was like, you know, I don't think Tom, because I never heard of it. Never heard of it, but I see that they're in Mexico. They plugged in 420 Bitcoin miners in Mexico, and it looks like it's a few days ago. Or what the What's Miner?
Okay, so these guys are based in Singapore. So also, I do get nervous about that.
Oh, Singapore.
And
What's that reason, Tom? I know the answer. I just like to. I'm baiting you.
Listen, investing in stocks is all about making money. So, you know, if there's any reason that a company's stock might go down, then, you know, that's got to be considered.
Right.
So let's see. Integrates the Bitcoin mining, power, and heating industries. The company provides a suite of specialized services, including mining machines, purchase, hosting, mining pools. So I think, again, these guys might not be a Bitcoin miner.
So here's a great example, Tom. Why don't you use this as your example of what you kind of do when you start to look into a company to see if it's worthwhile to invest in?
Okay, so yeah. So, I mean, I started their website.
Right.
So I just clicked through. We can let's just take a look at them real quick and
spend
see.
A few minutes. I mean, yeah.
Typically, I run right straight to the investors tab. Sometimes if it's a company like this where I've literally never even heard about them, I will look at about us a little bit because I don't even know. Like, clearly, they are somehow involved in the Bitcoin mining process. I'm not sure if they're hosting, if they're selling machines, or if they're owning and operating machines. So I'm going to go to About Us. We live in a world of infinite entropy increase, which is inevitable and unchangeable. Good stuff. Great stuff. However, how about what you do? What would you say you do here? Oh boy. See, I don't like that. I'm going to tell you guys right now, and this is just me. When I get through reading the About Us section and I don't even know what they do, that's never a good sign for me.
Bitcoin mining is not in that paragraph?
No. Let's see. achieving entropy mitigation in a certain time reduced delta Q by recovering the generally perceived inefficient thermal energy consumption. So, for those of you who already don't know, which is you probably mostly followed along, that means nothing. That's a company that's using a lot of big words to try to act like they're doing something. Now, if I will do a deeper dive, maybe they do something, but this is a big mistake. If I, as an investor, and I know I'm not alone, reading this paragraph right here is a gigantic red flag and an immediate turnoff. And again, they might be, for all I know, maybe this is a great company. I'm just saying, if they are, then they've made a big mistake here with their approach on their website.
The second that I read the second paragraph, I
Yeah.
don't know if that was Shanghai University, because it's kind of blurry on your thing. It's a dropout, and it's a dropout from Shanghai University. It says dropout. I think his name's Arthur Lee.
So I'm reading this. You
I
guys
guess
drop
it's not-
in the comments and let me know if you're ahead of me and you understand what this company does. Okay, so Edmund's letting me know they traded 512 shares today. So that's another
why waste your time?
monstrous red flag. I will
Yeah.
never trade a company. That's illiquid. So
Yeah.
you could buy these shares and get stuck with them for life. Now, they average a little more than that, but even at $1 a share, you know, people are putting 20 or 25 grand a day into this. Most of the miners on our list, people are investing anywhere from $1 million to, $500 million a day if you add up their daily volume. So I can go deeper. I'm still not sure this is a Bitcoin miner.
Yeah, don't. I mean, why would you waste your time on something so small? You know what I mean?
Right, and that was, thank you, Edmund. That's a deal breaker, so I should have noticed that right away. And this, I'm just going to go to their history and see if there was one big day that's making up that average, or if this is just an oddball day.
I don't think it is.
Somewhere, yeah. See, so they had 3 days right here, and then a day here. That this stock got hot for a week. Other than that, I mean, this is virtually illiquid. So that would be the reason it's not. But thanks for bringing it to my attention. I've never heard of this company. So, that's I would say, if you want to know, that's my screening process. Those are my first few steps. Because the first thing I'm trying to do is eliminate. Like, let me check the 10 things that make me know that, for me personally, I know I'm not going to invest in this company. If one of those things is already evident, then I don't have to move on and spend 3 hours in a deep dive, only to learn that it's a company I'm not interested in. So, if that makes any sense.
They look like they started off as a SPAC too, because they were $10. It's like stayed $9.97, $9.84, and then right as the SPAC, and bam, they went down to $4 and a penny. April 1st to June 1st, they just went directly down to $4, and then there to here. What? You know what? I'm saying there's a chance.
You're saying there's a chance.
Yeah, I mean, they're traded. I mean, Listen to this one, though.
I mean, I know people with more machines in their basement than this. So I don't know if they have a lot more elsewhere. Again, I don't want to make any assumptions. I kind of gave you my other reasons. Regardless of what they do, they're very illiquid. I don't like management's style, the way they've set up their website. They're, in my opinion, intentionally extremely vague. It's just my opinion. Let me know if you guys disagree in the chat.
I'm not reading any. Tom, are you still, Mike asks, are you still dollar cost averaging into miners?
I am. So I have some where I consider my position full, and I'm done. And I have a few that I'm still dollar cost averaging in. And, I have one that I just started this year in the Bitcoin mining sector. Wolf, with 2023, that was a new investment for me. So I'm focusing on that one. I still have added to my position in CleanSpark because it was down at places that were crazy. So I don't actually, by the strictest definition, I don't comply with dollar cost averaging in that I put, X amount of money, let's say, just as an example, every Friday you invest $100 or you buy 100 shares or whatever. So I continue to average in, but I look for opportunities. So over time, I grow my position. I have a target in mind for what size I want the position to be. Sometimes I get there, and sometimes I don't get there because the opportunity doesn't present itself. In 2022, I got there on all of them because they did nothing but go down all year. So,
Man, I can't. For me, to see CleanSpark go from $3 down to they're $2.69 again. It's just amazing they moved that much.
this is like I said. So I'm more than dollar cost averaging into this. To me, this stock and there's a lot of people that passionately do not like this company. So, it is what it is. Everybody's got their own opinion. A lot of that has to do with compensation to the directors, the way it's structured and all that kind of stuff. I feel okay with that. I like the strategy that they are taking. I think the market is punishing this company in a major, major way. So for me, in my personal opinion, if they're going to give me CleanSpark under $3, I'm going to keep buying it. So that's my benchmark. And it got back under $3. I mean, it jumped the other day. It finally got to like $3.12, a couple of days ago, and then yesterday $3.06, and now it's back to $2.69. I mean, if they take another trip down, if they're going to bounce off of this again, I'm buying. So, not financial advice. I'm just letting you know what I'm going to do because this makes no sense to me at all. Their market cap makes no sense to me at all. People are fixated on the fact that they're diluting, but they still have the least amount of shares out of all of these companies. So, you got to take things in the big picture. For me, I think this is one of the big buying opportunities on the board, in my opinion. And it's one of the ones I'm still spending money buying. So
you're a fan of CleanSpark? Not a hater.
I'm not a hater. I like what they're doing. Listen, if they screw up, I'll be the first one. I'm not married to any of these stocks. If someone's doing a bad job, right? If the story changes on one of these companies, then I'll, at some point, I will have to reconsider an investment and get out. Now, usually, hopefully, you've done enough due diligence and the management isn't making dramatic changes, but that does happen sometimes. So, when that happens, it's not only okay, but, in my opinion, you've got to reevaluate your investment. Sometimes you might say, okay, I'm still in, but, if you're not taking a second look, you can't love a stock. That shouldn't be your investment motivation. So I love these guys.
What's XYO? Did you check out XYO by any chance? XYO, this guy.
XYO?
I've never even heard of it. Is that a stock or coin? Maybe it's a coin?
Looks
like
it's
a coin.
Okay, so this is a micro cap. So I'll also tell you, I try to stay away from, especially for a coin, their market cap is $66 million. So like this, I don't know, they could be 500 or 1,000 or something like that. So it's hard enough to get me to pay attention to the top 15 coins. If it's outside of that, it's just not in my wheelhouse. And I'm scared of the small altcoins. I think that there's some people in the know that get in and out and make a lot of money. And, you know, if you're one of those people, or you know one of those people, then, you know, congratulations. But for me, like, there's no way I can build an investment thesis around this $66 million market cap coin.
So it's just not cutting the mustard, Tom?
What? Listen, somebody might come back on the stream a month from now and go, ha, see, now it's $600 million. And they might be right. I don't know. I'm saying I don't know, so I don't know how to invest in this.
Well, I can tell you one thing. They put out something on Reddit 3 days ago, and they got one comment. I mean, and this is the XYO network. They have their own Reddit page. Dude, even if they paid people, they're worth 66 million. They should have freaking paid people. This is his 23 users on right now for this. But nobody commented on this about their 5-year anniversary.
Their 5-year anniversary?
Oh, no, wait. We'll be drawing for our 5th anniversary giveaway. I assume that's a year. You don't ever know. It could be a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Thank you to everyone who entered. Let's see how many people commented on Twitter. On Twitter, it got 6,557 views.
We need to get our poll up. We need to see where people think we're going here.
That's disturbing. You go to Twitter and you get nervous real quick. The marathon has been extremely good, particularly for the past 3 months, for his 49,000 shares. Nice. People bouncing in and out of marathon. Somebody loves their XYO. Well, that's good. I'm glad that you guys... What does it do exactly? The coin? It says it's for Internet of Things, Black Tech.
The Internet of Things. I love that term.
Yeah. Definitely geospatial data.
So I did just put a poll up for those who didn't notice. This is our... I had to modify it a little bit because Bitcoin's in a little bit different spot. So what do we think? Which direction is Bitcoin headed in next? Are we going to break through 30,000 and go up from there? Or we're going to go either retest 25,000 or maybe even below that? So are we going, effectively, are we going up or are we going down?
It's interesting. You didn't do sideways this time?
I mean, we're sitting right here. We're either going up or down.
It ain't gonna stay here all weekend?
It could. I mean, you don't know. We've seen Bitcoin. Bitcoin in November and December went sideways for like 50 days. It was just unbelievable. So that can happen. I don't think we're in that type of a situation right now. I know what I think is going to happen next, but, you know, only time will tell, but let's see what everybody else thinks.
You always think it's going up.
That's not true. Lately,
I listen to you all the time. It's going up.
Lately, I've been saying it's going up, but I did have a long period where I thought we were going, we were going down and we were going to get deeper and deeper into the crypto winter. And for a long time, I thought we were going to go sideways. And there were times where I thought we were going up and we went down. There's no doubt. Thank you, SAI, if I'm pronouncing that right, said like the video. So everybody, if you could please smash the like button, I appreciate it. We got 53 likes. We're shooting for 100. Much appreciated. We're also shooting for, phone book's on, just at 109 viewers and only 50 likes. Smash the like button, please. Also, I'm going to put a link in here if anybody is interested. You can join the channel and become a member of the Talking Investing Squad. We have a really nice membership going. We do a members-only live stream every Tuesday after the market closes. We also have a members-only Discord. We also have a free Discord for those who are interested in. Sometimes that gets a little unruly, but we have a members-only Discord in addition to that. And members get to pick a stock each week for me to do a deep dive on. So those are not my picks. They're the members' picks. And I will tell you, there's a library of videos in there. The members have picked some outstanding, very interesting stocks. And I like it for me and for everybody in the group. We have a lot of different people with a lot of different expertise, if you will, in different industries throughout the market. And nobody knows every single industry in the whole market. I have 4 or 5 that I focus on. Obviously, Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners is one of them. That's what I spend most of the channel talking about. But there's an awful lot else out there where there's some big, big opportunities. So that's been a great experience. So thank you to all the members who are currently on right now. I appreciate the support. I see somebody said, what do you mean? Oh, Ray said, what do you mean? But I don't know if he was talking to me or you or somebody in the
Who knows?
I don't know.
Well, it's nice to see a lot of people think it's going to go up. It's nice to see.
37 votes. Vote if you're interested. We got 39. We got the poll going. It's not over yet though. I mean, that's up is winning, but it's not over.
So do you think, Tom, with Marathon and Riot, for an example, they're 2 solid miners, don't you agree? Like, they're not going anywhere, are they?
Marathon and Riot, here's the thing I'll say that they both have in common. And they got there a little bit of a different way, but they have extremely strong balance sheets. So from that aspect, operationally speaking, they do different things. They have different business models. Obviously, they both focus around mining Bitcoin, but they are very different companies. But from a balance sheet standpoint, they have very strong balance sheets. Now, Marathon's got a lot of debt, but it's convertible debt. And it's at 1% interest. So to me, I look at their debt as equity because ultimately, if Marathon doesn't fail, it's my belief that most likely all of that debt is getting converted to equity. And it's at a great price because Marathon's trading at $7.81 right now. And I think that stuff is redeemable, I think at 10x this, something like $78. So to me, that leaves them in a very strong place. They have no debt service right there because there's no principal due, and they pay 1% interest. So Riot actually went ahead and just actually raised the equity straight up. So that doesn't need to be converted in the future. It's already there. But those companies can withstand an awful lot from here going forward just based on the strength of their balance sheets.
Well, that's good. I'm always nervous somebody's going out of business.
I mean, I'm less worried about that right now at Bitcoin, 27,500. It was getting scary. And again, I know you personally, I think, I'll let you speak for yourself, but I think you think we're going to revisit some of those low numbers. And things get ugly at Bitcoin 16,000, 15,000. Things get very ugly for some of these companies.
There's just a few little issues that are out there. Once they shake out, I think Bitcoin will be in a much better position. One is Tether, and the other is Binance. I think both of them are going to be an issue at some point in time. Maybe not. Maybe they're, when you don't let some of the big 4 audit you, that's a problem. There's only one reason why you wouldn't do it.
Well, they gave their reason. I don't necessarily agree with their reason. I think it's probably more along the lines of the reason you're thinking of.
Yeah.
They for the national security, privacy, et cetera, but
When we first really got into crypto, we went through each one of the stable coins. We got the Tether, and we went and we looked for the reports, we looked for the audits, and we went deep, 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 deep. And they were off by millions of dollars. I won't say exactly how many, but they were off by millions of dollars. And they said, "Don't worry. Basically, we're good for it."
And there's
basically.
I mean, the scary part is there's really only two stable coins left of any consequence.
Right.
And, something
Tether's
goes
one of
wrong
them.
with one of them. Right, Tether's the biggest one now by far. And if something goes wrong there, then that is going to be a shakeup. I don't know if it'll be an FTX level shakeup of the cryptocurrency world but, that's a potential, that's a scary thing that sits out there.
Well, and when you have stablecoin, you think it's stable in a currency. And I guess we've been, the whole U.S., that usually means that it's U.S. dollars. And they could have some, they could have some junk loans out there.
The two major stablecoins are supposed to be pegged to the U.S. dollar.
Yeah.
And they should have, and they represent that they have either cash or short-term, 3-month type treasury bills, which is totally acceptable to me. They're making a little money that way. That pegs you to the dollar. So anything outside of that is an investment that has risk of ruining your peg. Kevin, thank you very much. We got a super chat from Kevin. I'm glad
the charges didn't stick, Kevin, just so you know.
Kevin, any thoughts, any comments? I appreciate the super chat. I know you've been with us for a while, so thank you for always joining in, and thanks for supporting the channel.
I'm gonna let Tom answer that question because I don't know. Ray, how high do you think Riot and Marathon can go in the cycle of the peak of 2025?
I mean, it's not at all unrealistic to think they're going to 10x, in my opinion. I know that sounds like a gigantic number, especially since they're the two largest market cap by far out of all the Bitcoin miners. But all right. I think, that's for Kevin. Thanks again, Kevin. Much appreciated. Yeah, I mean, it depends where this cycle goes, but I think the companies that survive, to think that they are going to 10x is not unreasonable. I know that's only 2 years away, so call it 2.5 years. That would be a monster return. So, that may be the high end of the spectrum, but I guarantee you there's a lot of people out there that have higher expectations than I just said. So I think I'm probably somewhere in the middle with my expectations. And just on cue, Sour Melon Gaming just said Marathon to 100. So, and I don't think you're alone. I think a lot of people think it'll get over 100.
That'd be a 20x, wouldn't it? Roughly.
Well, they're at almost, call it $8 right now.
Okay.
So
1 point, like 15, 14, something like that.
But all those numbers are well within. I mean, they were at $80-something over a year ago. So, and they're 100 times better company today than they were back then. Now, that was part of the hype cycle. So these companies maybe were at spots where they didn't necessarily belong at that time. That was a very risk-on environment. We are now in an extremely risk-off environment. We've had a few days in the last couple of weeks where it looks like maybe there's going to start to be an appetite for some of this risk-on stuff. All the Bitcoin miners are ultimate risk-on investments. Bitcoin itself also is perceived that way, although I would argue that I think it was a flight to safety as the banks started to get wobbly here in the U.S., Bitcoin started to run. So I do think there's some people starting to recognize the fact that, it in the same way gold is not some place you put your money and expect it to 5x or 10x, but you expect it to hold its value. It's a store of value. And I think Bitcoin was always intended to be that way. It's talked about that way, but it has not been traded that way. You know, it's been very huge swings with the bull markets and crypto winters, but you know, all the while continuing to move in the right direction. Miner Doc said most miners 5x to 30x from today's prices, assuming Bitcoin goes to 150K. So I agree, Miner Doc. That's and it depends on the miner. You know, maybe not everybody's going to make it, but the ones that make it and the ones that survive, there's some of these that have market caps. I'm going to go to my little market cap thing here. That's not market cap.
Market cap.
So this is as of a week ago because I update this on the weekends. So I don't know how we're not substantially different, but you can see, like, listen, if one of these guys succeed, if DigiHost succeeds, their 10x gets them to $450 million. Their 10x gets them to less than where Cypher is right now. So that's not hard to imagine, right? And there's a lot of these that are now nano cap level market caps. So they have a lot of room left to the upside. I am going to do a deeper dive on Bit Digital. They're doing something right now. I'm not sure that I love what they're doing right now. I think they have a very strong balance sheet. I'm just surprised at the direction they're moving in. So I'll just leave it at that for now. I may do a video on that. Let me know in the comments if that's a video anybody would care about. Is anybody watching Bit Digital, stock ticker BTBT, or is that off of everybody's radar?
Did they consult you, Tom, or no?
No, there are no Bitcoin mining companies that consult me in any way, shape, or form. They come on the channel and talk to us. What
about the ladies? What about the ladies?
That, as a reminder, I just talked to Aiden from Hive, so I just posted that interview today. So we did go through a lot of stuff. Aiden is very talkative, so there was a lot said there. If you guys want to check that out later or over the weekend, I encourage you to check that one out.
Check it out.
Kevin said, don't compare how much you own to anyone else. All that matters is what you have and what you do with it. So I think that's a very important... I just randomly looked at that comment, and I think that's a super important point. People get very caught up in, you know, oh, well, you know, how many shares does this person have or that person have? Or you got to worry about your own portfolio. You know, if you got... Yeah. Whether you have 100 shares or 100,000 shares, you're still going through the same process, hopefully, as an investor to make good investment decisions. So it's, you know, people can get discouraged and, oh, you know, my buddy has 10 times as much stock as I do, or whatever the case may be. And that's all. None of that's productive, and it's outside of that which you can control, and it's just not a part of the investing process. So I agree with that. I think that's a great point.
They found Duan? Mark saying that they found Duan, and he said Binance is in trouble. I'm going to see if he really did get arrested.
Binance is the other one you've been very worried about, George, for a while now. And you're not alone. The SEC is not a big fan. Although they seem to be picking a fight with absolutely everybody lately. And by the way,
the SEC or CC?
The SEC.
You
well,
say that
either way. That's right.
Oh,
I think they've picked some fights they're not going to win. So that's my opinion. We'll see what happens over time. But they seem to be all over the place. So this poll is getting...
I'm laughing because of what CleanSpark sent out yesterday. And I'm not going to even mention it. Go to Twitter.
Is it 3 letters?
Yeah, and I can't mention it because we're good.
I read it. It was good stuff. It's good stuff. You can go to CleanSpark's press release. They had a detailed press release yesterday that talked about a lot of stuff, and I thought it was good stuff. It's not necessarily operational stuff, but
It's good stuff.
I
We're
think
leaving
so.
it at that.
His Honor said, a good Hive interview today with Aiden. Unfortunately, his presentation was very technical. I'd like to see a Hive deep dive video that translates Aiden's points into the bottom line.
He was arrested.
For
Dude,
us.
He was arrested 4 hours ago. This is huge.
Who was arrested?
Duwan? How do you say it?
I think that's how you say it.
Yeah, that's him. Wonder where he was.
He was the algorithmic stablecoin. Am I thinking of the right person?
Luna. Isn't he the Luna?
Is he Terra Luna?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to figure out where this is, though.
BJJ, thank you for the super chat. Much appreciated. Your question is, how can Bitfarms get off the NASDAQ naughty list? I mean, the technical answer to that is all they need is 10 days in a row to close over $1. And they had 2 streaks of 5 or 6 days, and then they had 1 day in the middle where they went below. Now they've been below for a little while. I do not expect that to be a problem at all. So that, obviously, that is just my opinion. And it is, for as long as that situation exists, it's frustrating. Also, it's incentive for some investors to try to maybe push them down and keep them under $1. But I think those people are wasting an awful lot of their time and money, because Bitfarms, in my opinion, is going to make a run at $1.50. That's my personal opinion, sooner than later. So I think this dollar business will be in the rearview mirror at some point, but the technical answer to that is they need 10 days in a row to close over $1. And thank you again for the super chat. Much appreciated.
They're in Croatia. I can't believe they got arrested there. Wonder who paid who.
Minor Doc saying yes, he was the algo stable coin.
The full weight of the NATO surveillance has been used to arrest the program whose protocol was attacked by bad actors. This is crypto war. I'm just reading what somebody's writing.
Just checking the 15-minute here on Bitcoin to see what's what. I mean, we were down today. So this is where most of you, if you're familiar with the channel, my orange line is always where Bitcoin was when the U.S. equity markets closed the previous day. So from yesterday's close until, which one of these was today's close? So that was today's close. So we're even down a little bit from there. But we were down 2% today. That's a lot. So, and some of these miners had been catching up and outpacing Bitcoin's action over the last week. And now, unfortunately, a lot of them today,
Whoa, listen to this. Yesterday, the SEC sues YouTuber Jake Paul for the promotion of Tron. An arrest warrant is issued for Justin Sung.
So the SEC that's suing Jake Paul? Is that what you said?
Yeah, for a pump and dump.
This is what I'm saying. They're going after everybody, and honestly, I don't know My questions would be: was Jake Paul paid by somebody?
Yeah, to promote the coin.
And if so,
how do you short coins on the market?
I do not recommend shorting
Tron
leveraging.
Is down. I can't believe it's only down to 8%.
Yeah.
Do you remember when we heard about Tron? Like, it was almost 2 years ago now. Do you remember that conversation? We were at a really nice dinner. We were told that Tron was going through the roof.
I remember.
And I paid for dinner, by the way.
I remember lots of predictions about lots of coins going
citing fraud and market manipulation.
So I guess I'll reserve judgment and let that play out. I don't know what the answer to that is. It's a fine line, you know, between if you're a famous person and you're paid to promote something, like that's how, you know, is Michael Jordan responsible for anybody that slipped and fell in his Nike shoes? I mean, I know it's not the exact same thing, but you get my point. Like, paid promotion has been a part of this life for, you know, that's how the world works. Now, if they can prove some kind of wrongdoing or malice or some other inappropriate, I don't know. FV702, thank you very much for super chat. Much appreciated. Did you have a question? Let's see. Bitcoin about to trade on the NASDAQ. Saw it on CNBC. So I don't know how. You got to elaborate on that one. BTC about to trade on the NASDAQ. So, I mean, they're a coin. So I don't think they could get listed on the NASDAQ. And so when you say BTC, are you talking about Bitcoin? Because Bitcoin, I believe, and let me know if anybody disagrees, but I believe the debate has ended on Bitcoin. It is going to be treated as a commodity. Even Gary Gensler, who wants everything, he's not even going for the SEC to have control over Bitcoin at this point. So I think he's given up on that. And then that's about the only thing he's given up on. So the SEC seems to be coming after every other part of the crypto universe that it possibly can.
See, but this is not good for, well, maybe it's good for Bitcoin. I don't know. Time will tell. But I don't think it's good for any crypto, personally, with this stuff. I think this spooks people and they get scared.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt. Bad news in crypto world is just, you know, because it's piling on top of the giant piles of bad news we've had over the last year. And
think about Tron was a top 10. Tron was the top 10 coin buzz at one point in time.
Right.
I mean, I don't know where
anymore.
It is. No. It's number 17 right now in market cap.
Let me refresh. So my thing says 16.
16. Mine says 17. But, that's just crazy to see that.
This is what I'm saying. You get down to 15, 16, 17, and already, you know, people are... and again, if you know more about the coin, and there's... Trust me, millions of people that know more about altcoins than me. I've taken some time to do a deep dive on the big coins, but, you know, the list, in my opinion, the list is very short. By the time you get outside the top 20, to me, they're total... I mean, you can see... I'm not even going to count wrapped Bitcoin. So Chainlink, that's $3.5 billion. And I understand that is an awful lot of money, but it's very, very small versus, you know, the top 4 or 5 or 6 coins. And I think from here on down, I don't know enough about any of these. I mean, there's Ethereum Classic. Some of these may stick around. That's been around for a long time. I mean, I think a lot of you guys recognize a lot of these names. VeChain.
That's interesting.
But a lot of these have been pump and dumps already, and they're lingering around. I mean, obviously you got Shiba Inu. There's more YouTube videos on Shiba Inu than there is on Bitcoin, for crying out loud. And to me, I don't see any value in that at all, other than if somehow you've got a beat on how it's trading, it may be something worth buying and selling, but I mean, it's long-term value. I know I read the thumbnails. I don't watch the videos at all. But you know, I mean, Shiba Inu is a joke coin created off of a joke coin, which was Dogecoin. So, and I don't even see where, Dogecoin. Oh, they're way up here. They're at $10 billion. So that's number 8 and number 15. So I spend more of my time up here, right? George, this is your world right here, coming in at number 6, which is really number 4, because again, Tether is a stable coin and USDC is a stable coin. So 2 of the top 6 are stable coins. They should be pegged to the dollar. They're not investments. They're just vehicles by which to trade your cryptocurrency. So that really means XRP is the number 4 coin overall. And it's substantially ahead of Cardano, which is number 5.
I'm going to tell you one coin that we've never even talked about that is just this OKX.
OKX.
Yeah, OKB.
Oh,
OKB is what it is. OKB. That I have watched that coin.
I don't know this coin. If I scroll
yeah.
down, am I going to run into it?
No,
or is
you're already on it, I'm sure.
OKB?
Yeah, it's number, on mine, it is number 8. You might not have it.
Well, that shouldn't be. I mean,
Just
I'm at
OKB.
CoinGecko.
According to this, it's right between a
OKB?
Cardano.
OKB.
Yeah. Oh, between Cardano and Dogecoin.
That's weird. So I'll switch to a different, but CoinGecko's saying their market cap's 2.5 billion. They have them.
Yep.
Well, 2.5 billion is down. That's number 27.
Well, how come these guys have it at 10.25 billion market cap?
Oh, I don't know. We have to compare. Again, there's 4 or 5 different websites you can go to get these market caps. I don't know if that's a fully diluted market cap versus
that
this,
could be
or if
what
one
it
of
is.
them's wrong and one of them's right. I don't know. And
I don't even know how they do it. Now that's interesting though to see the difference between Live Coin Watch and CoinGecko.
And I don't know
that?
OKB, but it sounds like you've been keeping your eye on
No,
it.
I mean I've just been watching them for the last few months. It's just been interesting to watch. I mean they took off.
I mean, here's one that I thought stood a shot of being a big benefactor of the merge, but not really. Not at all. So, right, because Ethereum Classic is still proof of work. So I thought a lot of people would migrate to this. It's not a big enough platform for everybody to have migrated, but I thought they would get a nice pump, but they really didn't. So even that's a small coin. All right, let me check in on the chat. Nash V said BTC custody service by end of Q2 2023. They want to custody BTC on the Nasdaq. I've gotten several questions about Wolf, Terawolf, so I'll talk about them in a minute. Also, Ed is saying that's not really what we needed the SEC spending its time on or tax money on. Yeah, so Robbie is saying alts will have their run, but not yet. And that goes to the fact that the Bitcoin dominance has been going up, up, up. So I don't know if we lost George or if he just blacked himself out, but he's taking a temporary timeout. So what was I just saying? Oh, Bitcoin dominance. So right now it is definitely not altcoin season. And let's see if I can find the Bitcoin. Let me get to a different. Oh, well, while I'm here, let me talk about this. This is the DXY. So we've been talking about this on the channel and following along. This is a measure of the strength of the US dollar. And what we were hoping to see, we had this area here where we had a little drop. This was some weakness in the US dollar. This typically equates to a run in both the equities, but even more specifically for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin runs counter to this. This green line is a 20-year high. So you can see we got up to a 20-year high in April of 2022. And only 2 times have we dipped down below this. So what we were hoping, we started to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red candles in a row. We got down into the 102 area, but now it looks like things have turned a bit around and it's headed the other way. So I'm hoping we have another one of these where the dollar gets to a little bit more reasonable level, and that will help Bitcoin for sure. So just something that I always keep my eye on. You know, there's a million things to watch, and no one of them is going to tell you exactly what's going to happen, but this is one of the things I look at. But what we were going to try to look at is the Bitcoin dominance. Whoops. Delete. So you can see this is, let me zoom out. This is on the 1 day. The last time we were up here was June of 2022. So what is it comparing this to? Okay, good, right trade. Oh, right, of the total. So we're at around 47 right now. We've been as high as, yeah. If you go back here, prior to May of 2021, the Bitcoin dominance was on another level. I do think that this particular calculation includes the I think this includes the stable coins, which skews this because the market cap of the stable coins is up dramatically. So, you know, it's not apples to apples necessarily. And I think there's another chart that takes those out and shows. But just, you know, even within that context, you can see if we go all the way back to May of 2021, that's coming up on 2 years ago. The Bitcoin dominance is approaching, you know, its high point that it gets to. So right now, this is the opposite of altcoin season. I think this is going to keep running up. That's my personal opinion. There does seem to be a roadblock, or at least some strong resistance just ahead. So we'll see what happens there. And my guess is this is probably when, somewhere around when Bitcoin's going to hit that $30,000 mark. So we're going to have some resistance over there. We're going to have resistance on the dominance, and we'll see if it can break through and keep going to the upside from there. That's what I'm thinking anyway. Welcome back to George.
Hey, I'm back. Sorry, I was just reading all the notes and laughing at Kevin. But by the way, can you imagine Duwan? How do you say? Is that how you say it? Duwan?
Do Kwon, if I'm remembering correctly.
You know, do you think the SEC and the CIA is interviewing him right now as we speak?
I don't know.
I bet you it's something like that. Can you imagine? We'll have a seat.
Whatever it is, he's probably not having the best day.
I'm not talking to his lawyer. Whack! No lawyer coming here, brother. We're not on American soil. There's no rights. You want rights? Sorry, there's no rights. And they're gonna, I bet you they get them to flip on CZ. That's who they want.
Well, they're going straight after CZ as well.
Yeah, but they want, they're going straight after him, but they don't have criminal charges against him yet. This bothers me. I feel bad for the people, but they stole billions of dollars. You know what I mean? Billions of dollars.
Billions of dollars went away.
Duwan. They were showing, so I'm looking at Twitter, and I'm seeing how he did his trades
Mark
and how he
Twain
had
is
all these.
reiterating Do Kwon.
I'm never gonna say his name right. He doesn't deserve for me to say his name right. But they show all the different accounts and how he did the wash trades with Tether, which is interesting. And these are 2018s. So can you imagine?
Oh, this is from 2018.
Yeah, yeah.
Tariq has let us know that. So Terawolf on March 17th received a letter from the NASDAQ notifying its common shares do not meet the minimum bid. So we know that they're in the same boat. They're under $1. So that's the deal on the NASDAQ. You've got, I think, 180 days to get in compliance. And then you can ask for a 180-day extension. You can also do, and people dislike this, but if all else fails, you can do a reverse stock split. What I would say is that, in my opinion, and I'm going to address this only because I've gotten a lot of questions on the chat today about Terawolf. That's one of the positions I've been adding to. I like what they're doing. They have, but I will say, please do a deep dive because they've totally restructured their entire business. So they're a very different company than they were even 90 days ago. I think, for me, I think they're a much better company. Now, part of what they did is some major dilution. They raised $32 million, and their stock took a gigantic hit for that. It's put them under $1. I think what they did, in my opinion, was game-changing for the better. And they went from a company that I wasn't sure how they were going to remain liquid to a company that totally, raised money, restructured debt. They completely restructured their debt. And for these Bitcoin mining companies, the one thing that is the killer is debt. So, we complain about dilution, and, dilution is not great for stockholders, and a lot of people don't like them selling Bitcoin. But the one thing that is an existential risk to the Bitcoin miners is debt, because the debt terms that these companies get are vicious, and the debt service runs them over. As we ran into a crypto winter or bear market, there was all the companies that took debt out, really, there was no way for them to service that debt and get to the other side. So the vast majority of them have restructured that debt, or given all their Bitcoin mining machines back because they were held as collateral, or had to cash in all their Bitcoin stack because they were collateralized. So, a lot of different outcomes.
Sorry, Mike.
To me, I think that Terawolf had one of the better outcomes, and I like what they're doing. So that's just my personal opinion.
It's funny. I wonder if this will, the whole thing with CZ, I wonder if this will go into another reason for the war. You think I'm joking?
I'm not making the connection.
Well, he's a Chinese citizen, correct?
Oh, you're saying
US,
a potential conflict with...
Right. See, that's what gets me. There could be a ban on crypto.
Here?
Yeah, in the United States. I know it'd be hard. Very hard.
In my opinion, there is no reasonable chance that they will ban Bitcoin.
No, not Bitcoin, but the other stuff. Or make it SEC compliant. And
they're certainly shooting for that.
How many coins go away if they go SEC compliant?
Well, I would say 90% of them disappear because they're small enough that there's no way they're going to go through the rigor.
Oh, South Korean? He's South Korean, sorry.
All right.
And South Korean,
for the clarification.
South Korean, that's just might as well be like the 60th state of the United States. They'll do whatever. You know that, right?
South Korea is an ally of the United States.
Yeah, they love us. We love them.
Yes.
What's the name of the guy? What's the little man above them bad? North Korea.
Oh.
Little man above them bad.
Is that what somebody
Sorry.
said? Or is that what you're saying?
I'm saying it right now.
Oh,
Do-
I was
a
reading all
little,
about the
little side
supersonic.
note. Sorry, little side note. So they were bragging about how many people signed up to voluntarily signed up to be in the military, right? In North Korea. And so they asked the first guy, goes, "Would you like to volunteer to be in the military?" Sorry, I have a speech impediment. And he said, no. The gun shot him. They go to the next guy. "Hey, would you like to volunteer to sign up to the military?" And he said, "Yes." And from there, they did not get any more no's.
This
I
is
just
this
found
is
it
n-
interesting.
this is not a true story. It's a
Put
joke.
my thing up. Put my thing up.
Oh, thank you. Yes. This is a Georgism. I can neither confirm nor deny any part of that story.
It's a good story, though.
It's a good story.
Sorry. March Madness. Have you paid attention to any of the games, Tom? Seth just said, any updates on March Madness?
I watched I think it was double overtime last night between Michigan State and was it Kansas State?
Oh, was it?
And that was a tough loss.
You guys are going to laugh what I watch. I watch BattleBots. Isn't that sad? That's what I watch. BattleBots. Sorry, we're probably losing the audience. Sorry for the sidebar. We need a commercial to break it up. And now,
A word from our sponsor. This stream is not sponsored by anybody currently, so
Kansas State, baby. I guess somebody likes Kansas State, Mark. So, back to Bitcoin. What was our poll, and you want to do another one?
yeah, let's get rid of this poll. It was not a runaway landslide here. 95 votes. We got 68% think we're going to go break 30,000 and 32% think we're going to revisit either 25,000 or some lower line of support. I'm going to end the poll. George, what was your vote?
25 or less. I just don't think it's getting to 30. It might get back to the 29 too, but it's just not gonna. Mike, what is BattleBots? BattleBots. Just type it in. It's just where these two bots. They're like, it's gonna be your new favorite thing if I tell you about it. New Poe who watches BattleBots. Probably no one watches BattleBots.
I know.
So,
I feel like I know the outcome of that poll, Mike. But thank you for suggesting. For
so
recommending.
BattleBots is like these two little like robots, but they're not really. They're kind of like, it's a cross between like a robot and a little RC car, and then they put these blades on it and they rip each other apart. I love it. I think it's really neat because they've changed. It's been going on for 7 years now, and they keep changing. Like this year, the spinner wins, then the next year the flipper wins, and that's like different augments that you have on these little RC cars, so to speak, and they flip them up in the air or they chew them up with their blade. It's really neat. I like it. I don't know. I like just stupid, not really paying attention type of stuff, if you know what I mean. You put my thing.
I just want to go back because somebody was asking me a question, and I want to go back to a member who pointed out earlier. He was talking about Mawson, and that was Tom. I just can't find his. Yes. Tom's asking, time for Midgie deep dives, Dr. MIGI, which is Mawson. And I will say, Tom left me a comment like 5 days ago that I should be looking at Mawson, and I want to go to the chart and show what happened since that time. Gotta zoom in. So I feel like he left me that message either this day right here or this day. So either way, there's been a big run up since he made that comment. And from the low of a week ago, you know, now it did come back down today, but that's still up 47%. It was up as much as 78%. So Mawson finally got its due. And I haven't done a deep dive on them in a long time. And they're another one whose business model has changed drastically. So if you want to see what they're doing, they had to restructure their entire business, but I like what they've done. Somebody else was asking me, do you hold Mawson or Stronghold? I don't hold any Mawson, but I do like what they did. I think that they're much better off than they were. And I have a little Stronghold. I thought about adding to it today, but I didn't do it. And they're another one. If do your deep dive on Stronghold, because they had to completely, I think we talked about that. They had to completely redo what their business model is, but they also do something very cool that no one else in the world is doing, really. So, from an environmental standpoint, it's amazing stuff.
Oh, Stronghold?
Yes. You remember those guys.
Oh, of course, yeah, they're great. The guy would do, I mean, if they had the money, they should, like, make him go away and just be a founder. No offense. Love you to death, but you know what I mean?
Well, hopefully he may not.
Investors look for a certain type of person to be the chief. And when you meet him, you kind of like, how?
He's given a different vibe.
Yeah,
Maybe more of a hippie vibe.
Yeah.
Is that a fair statement?
And I hate to say it that way because I never wear, a suit and tie anymore, but...
Yes, said the guy in a t-shirt, so...
Says the guy in the t-shirt, right.
To be fair, that's pretty much what I wear every day as well.
Yeah, but I mean, the sunglasses and you know what I mean, all that, the whole hipster.
I think there might have even been a ponytail involved, but don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure.
But the energy part of their business is really interesting.
Right. There's a lot more to their business, and they've had to back off of the Bitcoin mining portion of it for the time being, but I do think that's a company that has reorganized themselves, and they look good.
They should probably split and have an electric company and a mining company. Because I bet you that electric company would freaking take off.
Well, I mean, they get to sell themselves their own electricity.
I know, because of that 3-letter word. You know what I'm saying? And what they're doing is what that 3-letter thing wants.
Yes.
To be a high score. Very high. Red candle on BTC, by the way.
Oh, let me get back. I noticed we were drifting. That's the low on the day.
Yeesh.
So we're now, from where we closed yesterday, we're now down over 4%. So that's a pretty healthy pullback. The pullback that I think, 32%? We're saying, well, it's not fair to do it from there. We got to go from here because here's where we are. So to get to 25.2, that would be, it's not that much. I mean, that's just a 7.5% pullback from here. Gets us back to, let's go back to 25 even-ish. So 8%. So that could happen over the weekend. I mean, there's absolutely no way to say that's out of the question, that we could potentially go. What I would hope is that, because this was a very, very long-term line of resistance. So I would hope that if we do dip down here, we find support and bounce off of this line. And if that's what happens over the weekend, worse things could happen.
What are you looking at, 25?
25.
Yeah.
I mean, 25 goes way back. 25, I mean, we visited 25 in August of 2022. We got rejected in February. And then you got to go back to June when, you know, the original flash crash is the last time we were above that. So we did run through here, but we're kind of stuck now. We're stuck sideways, so maybe we're going to need to retest the bottom.
I sit here and I look at the full moon and the new moon, and I find it just interesting.
Is it following along as it should be?
I don't know. I'm just saying. I just find it interesting. You guys can decipher if you think it follows it or doesn't it.
Make whatever you want of that statement.
Make whatever you want. I'm just saying. TradingView does have
it's got the
lunar thing. So I don't know. Maybe you think it does. Maybe you think it doesn't. It's real interesting though. That's all I can say.
So today, this was a Friday, and it was a green Friday. So it was really, Bitcoin was lagging behind everything else. You know, it wasn't a huge green day, but S&P was up a little over a half a point. Dow 0.4, NASDAQ 0.3, Russell 0.85. Crude oil went back under 70 again. It did run up back over 70, but it got under. So that's been hanging around. It was down, I think, as low as maybe 65, George. Is that right?
Yeah, it got right around there.
And gold did break 2,000 for a few minutes a couple of times, but it's hanging out right below that.
Oh, it did get up there?
It got there quickly. I'll go to that. It barely... Where's gold? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4 days ago. It got to $2,009. Yesterday it got to $2,003. Today it got to $2,003. So it keeps kind of hitting 2,000, but it doesn't seem to have flipped into support. It's definitely still bumping up against that. And, you know, it's been since... This goes back to April of 2022 is the last time we were up around here.
Silver looks good.
Well, silver's the one that I feel good about, and I think a lot of our members like silver. I want to get excited about silver, but I have been fooled by silver in the past. But this is a nice run. That's 16%, 17% in a pretty short period. That's 2 weeks. So that's pretty good. But it's just getting back to this spot, which was... So we'll see. Can it break through this and run up to 28 or 30? I don't know. I actually have to wrap it up. It's 5:30. I have... we started early today because I have a rehearsal dinner to go to. So, George, any final thoughts?
Yeah.
Thoughts for this weekend? Thoughts on Bitcoin? Thoughts on the world?
Just positive.
Positive thoughts? Positivity?
Positive vibes, man.
Good.
Positive vibes.
That's what I like to hear. So, from Tom and George, we're sending positive vibes out into the
look
universe.
at what... Hang on. I just have to say this. Mike just said, I just watched a clip of BattleBots. I think I'm a new fan. See? I'm out there recruiting for BattleBots.
You should be getting a commission on this.
Yeah. It's neat. I mean, it's just like, I don't want to watch a love story or drama or any of the stuff. And I get, like, burnt out, like, paying attention to stocks.
Paying attention to stocks, paying attention to the news can be very exhausting. So you need some other...
Two things that... You know what I mean? That's it. That's really neat. So, see you guys. Thanks, Tom.
All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great weekend. Thanks to all the members. Special thanks. And thanks to everybody for joining us on live stream. Best of luck over the weekend with Bitcoin. I will do some videos, and we'll see you guys. Are we doing a live stream Monday morning, George? I don't know.
I don't know. If something major happens.
So we'll get back to you on that one. In the meantime, everybody have a great weekend.
See you guys.